So we're in the heat of World War II, right? British forces need some help, and So we're in the heat of World War II, alright? British forces need some help, and they turn to their old pal, the Australians. After all, we're the happy-go-lucky neighbour that's always happy to lend a hand. But what do they really think of us over there in the motherland? That's what I'm here to find out. Let's start with the declaration of Australia's participation in the war. Of course, at this point, we were still relatively tethered to Britain, so it wasn't really in question, but it's exciting anyway. Robert G. Menzies was Prime Minister at the time, and he gave this fantastic speech.
Fellow Australians, it is my melancholy duty to inform you officially that in consequence of a persistence by Germany in her invasion of Poland, Great Britain has declared war upon her, and that as a result, Australia is also at war. No harder task can fall to the lot of a democratic leader than to make such an announcement.
Between 1939 and 1945, nearly 1 million Australian men and women served in what was going to be World War II, but that's not what this documentary is about. We're looking at the relationship between British forces and Australian forces, and the mutual admiration harboured. Firstly, I'd like to bring up this image, part of a series of similar posters in World War II, necessary to distinguish friend from foe. And for the British, obviously, Australia was a friend, at least on a surface level. But according to the memoirs of some Aussie soldiers, the majority seemed to feel underappreciated by the Tommies, as the British were nicknamed. As far as England is concerned, I hope that the flame of democracy bred by this awful war will utterly destroy for all time the feudalistic and Stone Age institutions of this aristocracy-ridden but beautiful country, writes Major General John Monash. It was widely accepted that the Tommies had more of a rank-is-everything point of view, whereas us diggers thought we were all fighting the same war together. What's wrong with getting along with your captain while doing so? There's a brilliant excerpt from a manual given to American soldiers who are about to post in Australia. I'll read it to you now. The Australians need our help in winning this war, of course, but we need theirs just as much. You might remember when you get into an argument about who's going to win the war. Not so long ago in a Sydney bar, an American soldier turned to an Australian next to him and said, "Well, Aussie, you can go home now. We've come to save you." The Aussie cracked, "Have you? I thought you were just a refugee from Pearl Harbor." Overall, everybody loved the Australians. I mean, some people hated the disrespect they had for authority, and trying to get them in line was like herding cats. But the stereotype of a friendly, cheeky bloke cracking wise at his superior had to come from somewhere, right?